And they record the call. The math. Okay, touch the leg, everyone. And Geshe and I are going to start to do some chanting. First, we're going to chant homage and praise to the Shakyamuni Buddha, this one. And then we're going to recite some mantra. So, as I mentioned before, those mantras special we got from His Holiness Dalai Lama and as well as our Rinpoche, like to protect from pandemic disease. And then also, many people died because of this disease, and then so many people still suffering. So please send your prayer for all of them while we recite this mantra and the chanting praise to the Buddha. Thank you.
Oh, Demba, Jamden, Yaba, Jamba, Yonova, Dobe, Sanje, Triba, Dan, Shasu, Demba, Dewa, Sheba, Jide, Jamba, Jeva, Dobe, Kalo, Jawa, Lana, Meba, Lada, Mena, Demba, Sanje, Jonden, Bejawa, Shaja, Dubai, La, Chantel, Chedo, Jodo, Joy, Demba, Jamden, Joy, Jeba, Jamba, Yadava, Tobe, Sanje, Jeba, Shasa, Dem, Dewa, Jeba, Jite, Chemba, Sewa, Davia, Kalo, Jo. Lana meba lado mena je temba sanje chonden de bejawa shaja soba la changde lon chedo jazo joy temba chonden de joy jeba jajomba yadava tobe sanje jeba don shazo temba dewa sheba Jide Chamboy, Shivon, Dovia, Kaloy, Shivon, Lana, Meboy, Lato, Mono, Jedamboy, Sanje, Chondian, Bejawa, Shaja, Tuvala, Shantelon, Chedo, Chazo, Joy. Conte, Conia, Zoe, Chedo, Sajian, Dolai, Comboy, Deboy, Nanan, Jidian, Donai, Chodius, Moy, Dejan, Kiba, Chela, Shantan, Nandai, Kuman, Chodas, Sudoi, Wai, Yishia, Tanto, Sejoy, Lamboy, Chaban, Jidian, Sunai, Lamia, Wai, Gamboy, Junior, Chela, Shan, Telon, Tenjoy, Damboy, Trumir, Damir, Shai, Sindon, Rawai, Chela, Shan, Telon, Dodai, Chela, Subai, Sumai, Jia, Yomir, Chinjia, Chela, Shan, Telon, Gamboy, Tujia, Chedian, Boy, Tamjia, Champion, Damboy, Boy, Sonomoy, Dea, Jandoy, Shia, Deja, Shala, Shan, Zanoy, Tabian, Deja, Chawai, Joy, Givian, Yasoy, Lidroy, Chido Tendo Chujuba, Chuju Chila Chon Zelo Chunia Chuvia La Yui Laba Tala Radoini Shingo Domba Yede Genda La Yui Chon Zelo Sonjia Tola Chon Zelo Choba Chila Chon Zelo Gendo Chila Chon Zelo Sumla Dada Kizon Zelo Shaja Yibwa Kamjela Shida Ganja Chanya Lydia Baya Nangada Choda Devya Shantalo Deva Jayo Amajaji Gewa Puzo Tobasha Rangya Sena Yonsada Dana Sanje Tembaye Kamara Mameto Jama Suba Chawato Malaloto Chanawa Deshi Chino Dodai Sanamundaya Tamjia Sipaye Kombo Tony Chenjo Dadoi Gadon Adon Chevia Ladrivia Sibian Tolen Drovai
Okay, so now we're going to recite some mantras. So first we're going to press to the Lama Tsongkhapa 3 times, and then we recite Buddha Shakyamuni's mantra, Medicine Buddha mantra, and Cherisi mantra, and then also the 7-line prayer to the Guru Rinpoche, and then Tara Rinpoche's mantra. Yeah.
Oh, Mimia, Tevia, Dejia, Jeria, Sia, Tramia, Chambia, Wombo, Jambia, Yang, Kanjia, Kibia, Sujia, Tonga, Eba, Losai, Tabia, Shalai, Soai, De, Mimia, Tevia, Dejia, Jeria, Sia, Tramia, Chambia, Wombo, Jambia, Yang, Kanjia, Kibia, Sujia, Tonga, Eba, Losai, Tabia, Shalai, Soai, De, Mimia, Tevia, Dejia, Jeria, Sia, Tramia, Chambia, Wombo, Jambia, Yang, Kanjia, Kibia, Sujia, Tonga, Eba, Losai, Tabia, Shalai, Tongkia, Tujia, Shajia, Rinjoi, Jia, Shenjoi, Motoi, Tujoi, Pijoi, Ba, Sejoi, Lamboi, Taboi, Jabio, Shajia, Jaboi, Cheloi, Chantai, Loi, Mune, Ma, Mune, Yesoha, Mune, Mune, Ma, Mune, Yesoha, Mune, Mune, Ma, Mune, Yesoha, Tujia, Gola, Nyambia, Chandia, Dia, Tenzoi, Tibia, Nyandoi, Dumai, Tuzo nese sonji menjo lai, bendo ya ye la, chanje lo, te ada ono beganje ay, beganje ay, ma beganje ay, beganje, ranzo samunga de soha. Dei dai amon begande begande ma begande begande ranza samanga de soha dei dai amon begande Ma bekande, bekande, Randa samunga de so. Chanje mage kando ga. Toson jeje walai je. Tuje jenje rolai je. Tere zelai chante no. Mani peme wo. Omai mani peme wo. Omai mani peme wo. Oje yeje nojon doi. Pema kesa tomboi la. Yanzen chogo nido nye. Pema yoni shesoi cho. Kodoi kanro momye koi. Chejo jiso tatu chi. Chenje lojo sheso so. Guru pema sedo. Ama ahu benzoi guru pema sedo. Ama ahu benzoi guru pema sedo. Ama ahu benzoi guru pema sedo. Ladon lami jebya jia shoja pemo ladone pomba kolya jonde ama doma yamla chande no dare tidare dore soy goy omoy tare tudare dore soy Om Dare Tu Dare Dare So Jawai Kunja Yijai Jamai Chandra Nambai Jawai Lishwabe Namo Kangyan Jawai Nidyange Kunya Shanti Chalai Shanti Lo Bishati Panai Shawai Sawan Dara Pasha Manaya Soha Amai Bishati Panai Shawai Sawan Dara Pasha Manaya Soha Amai Bishati Panai Shawai Sawan Zorai Pasha Manaya Soha. Okay, so now we do the dedication. Oi Chala Deja Sowai Tabi Dia Taso Kanda Nebia Sajosa Nedai Omboi Tate Shawai Do Chido Tashi Bewan Okay, now we're going to recite long life prayer for His Holiness Dalai Lama and also long life prayer for our master Zachuje Rinpoche. Oi Gora Ravi Govi Shingon Pendoi Dewa Mali Juvene Kere Sewa Tenze Jantoye Shabe Sante Apato Tenjoi Chiai Chame Tube Temboy Zambia Toy Losai Jawai Nibia Jiloja Dongai Tangchi Pelai Dadai Wai Sume Pande Lamai Sawai De. Okay, thank you, Krishna. She taught his own Chitrama. Accepts.
Especially everyone again. And today is the last day for a Wheel of Life. And here also we're almost done. Last time we talked about the last wheel is I think is around like number 8. And number 8 one is a person drinking alcohol symbolizes the desire or attachment arises from feeling. You know, number 7th one is a feeling, right? So when you feel like, that feel like pleasure or feel suffering, because of this feeling, it's arises that attachment or detachment. Like, for example, if you feel like pleasure, the pleasure, that arise the attachment, like, you want more. And then if you feel like, that suffering, the suffering arises the detachment, like you don't want, like, that is anger, this kind of stuff. So anyway, this attachment arises by feeling. So that's the, that what you call number 8, like here in okay, here. Yeah, I think this is the number 8. Like, there's one guy, he drink alcohol. The alcohol has some kind of like what you call that quality. Like, once you drink alcohol, like you want to drink more. That's kind of like quality of alcohol. The same thing, that desire. Once you have the desire, you want like more, they never like satisfied. So that's why this alcohol, the alcoholic picture is represent like that attachment or desire. That's the number 8. And then number 9, so there's a monkey picking fruit, symbolize the grasping for an object of desire. The okay, so in this picture, it's not look like a monkey. It's look like a, the guy. Yeah, but in the textbook, or also that our, this one also, I didn't notice about that. The mind has not that much clear. Anyway, in the textbook, it's not like a human being, it's a monkey. There's Tegi Shitu Lembe tended sentence. So there's monkey, like he picking up the, what you call that, picking up the fruits. And Shitu Rongama Choshin, Tuze Toata, Lembe Shunu Gingiponala, Choshin Chershete, Devingipo Tonda Lembe Yenos. So monkey, that when he realized that fruit is so sweet, right? And then like because of that, he never like stopped to picking up, that here and there. So that's the represent like a, what you call that, attachment or grasping. This number 8 and 9, both of them kind of like attachment, but a little bit different. We can talk later that, here our Rinpoche's that handout, it says the grasping for an object of desire, like, that monkey, like, they realize that fruit is sweet, then he pick up more, right? So same thing, that attachment, when you attachment like some object, because of that, attachment, like your desire kind of increase like more and more. So that's the number 9, like, this monkey picking up fruit is represent for the grasping. So, yeah, I didn't notice there's the different picture. I even do. Okay, so now the number 10. Number 10, our pregnant woman represent the existence arise from grasping. That's the sipa, like we call like sipa, like existence. What you call that? The existence arise. Existence arise. It's sipa is a kind of like a karma. And so permit me, like, the pregnant woman, like, it's very, what you call that, it's ready to deliver baby, right? They're pregnant, like this pregnant woman, that woman, kind of like very ready to deliver baby. So same thing, this coming, like, it's very fruit, like fruit, and because of this grasping, the 9th one, like number 9, like monkey picking up, this because of this grasping, what you call that karmic result is ready to come up, ready to come out. So that's why this that pregnant woman represent, I would say, the result karma, like a result karma. I don't know what's meant by the existence, the existence, right? Arises from grasping. The number 9 arises the number 10. And then 11, trigger tsawe, jive tenten tsente, pume drama les, pung is tsawa chija, jive tente je kasu yung, yang si shima is nyingso jawa is. Okay, here, yeah, now like, that pregnant woman, like delivered the baby. A woman giving a child birth symbolizes the birth or enter into the new life. So now this number 11, a woman giving the, the birth child is Chewa, like, it's a represent for like birth, the birth or entry into the new life. So, yeah, that's, I think, is pretty easy. Like, this, in a picture also, the woman, like a delivery baby, the same, like, this one represent, like, the, what you call that, like, Chewa, like the birth, represent for birth. So the general speaker, this, the birth, like, here is exact, like, the deliver, like when we call birth, right? So general speaker, Buddhism point of view, when we talk about the birth is little bit different. It's not like delivery. When you know that when you like pregnant, at that time we call like a birth. The from pregnant to like the growth. There's lots of process like in the womb, in the the mom's womb, right? All those are like the into the birth, like kind of like when you we call like a sivashi. There's a 4 like sipa, like the pasi, chesi, jesi, nyenti sipas. There's a 4 kind of, I don't know, it's not ran, like that our all session beings like a process into the 4, like that pasi means intermediate state, and then after intermediate state, the birth, like the birth state. So when you like the pregnant, like your mom's like womb, you start the birth, like, that's we call it birth. And then Ngentisumba, after deliver, from there to after deliver, like, that, what you call that, up to the death, that's the one section, then death. So intermediate state, birth state, and then Ngentisumba, like, grow up state, death state, these four kind of like all like, session being go through these four, right? So this birth is not after deliver, like, when you're pregnant, we call it birth. Okay, so now we're almost done. This is number 12. Number 12, an old person carry the dead body, symbolize the aging and death at end of every life. So here, the 12 link dependent origination, here, like, we put aging and death, like, we put together in one session, because not like, the all session being like, first, like, the birth and then aging and death, like, not everybody, somebody, that like when they in a, the mom's womb, like, they die, and somebody just delivered there, but there's no process to aging, right? So that's why here, out of the 12 link dependent origination, that aging and death, they put together, because, there's many people, death, like, die before aging. So that's why, they put together, there's no separate. So the old person, this old person represent aging, and then he carried the dead body. That's the represent for like represent death. And then in here there's some, like, they wrote the voucher, like, that means it's ready to eat. So anyway, that's the, that this what you call that fourth round, right? Like fourth round. That 12 link dependent origination, this picture like represents. So anyway, there are four, like, first one is three poison, and then second wheel is represent for intermediate state, and also, that virtuous state and non-virtuous state. This black color is non-virtuous state, and then other side is like a white color, is virtuous state, represent like virtuous state. And then third line, there's a sixth realm, right? So if you look at the picture, like, you can tell, like, that when it's a human beings, there's somebody like harvest, doing like plumbing, and then the hungry ghosts are like big stomach, tiny neck. So animals, there's some animals. So this is the sixth, represent like sixth realm. Then last, like 12 link. So this 12 link dependent origination, the how many, like, to complete all 12, it takes, like, that minimum 2 life, maximum 3. Like, somebody, they, there's some body, they complete this 12, like all complete in a 2 life. When it's, that complete in 2 life, okay. When it's complete in 2 life, then, the first, like, ignorant, and then second one, karma, right? Second one, karma, that's the consciousness, and this 3, and then also number 8, that what you call that, attachment, and number 9, grasping, and number 9, grasping, and number 10. So these 6, the complete in a 1 life, and then rest of them complete in next life. So minimum, like, it's to this 12 link dependent origination, like totally complete, like one round, it takes like 2 lives, you know, the minimum, like you, the for sure, like first, second, 3, and then 8, 9, 10. This, you know, that 6 complete in this life, and then rest of them in the next life. And then sometimes, you know, the first 3, like, you know, that ignorance and then karma, you know, that because of ignorance, you created good karma or bad karma, you know, and then that good or bad karma kind of sit, like, you know, the self store in a consciousness, right? And then you store in a, then you passed away, you didn't pick up that, you know, karma, and then next life or other life, and then this attachment, you know, the because of this attachment, like it's wrapping in another life, and then what you call the rest of them, you know, that rest of them complete in another life. So it's totally takes like 3 lifetimes. I hope you guys got the point. It's this is not really complicated, not too complicated. Like, you know, this all like 12 link dependent origination, like, you know, the minimum takes 2, like 2 lifetimes to complete all. You know, the first 6 is ignorant, you know, and then karma, and then consciousness, right? You know, that because of ignorance, you created karma, and then that karma sits on in a store in a consciousness, and then in that life, same life, you know, this attachment, like, you know, attachment, like pick up this karma, and then, you know, that that karma like ripe, and then, you know, the rest of them, like, you know, the other 6 and start like complete in another life. So it takes 2 life, right? The one thing is first 3, you know, that complete in 1 life, and then next life this attachment to, you know, attachment, and then what you got that like result karma, and then another life rest of 6. So, you know, like Tende Yala Juni Chetapoyo, Tisala Zuba is like, you know, in a Tibetan, like says, you know, that, you know, the minimum like 2 life and maximum 3 lives, you know, Chetapoyo means even though it's too long, still like it's complete in a 3 life. So that's the one. And then, you know, as I told you before, like, you know, Vasubandhu, yeah, Vasubandhu, he says, Tampu Jeva Ganyemu, Nipa Chua Leinos. You know, out of this 12 link dependent origination, you know, Tampu Jeva Ganyemu, like, you know, the number 1, you know, the number 1 is ignorant, and number 8 is attachment, right? And number 9 also, like, you know, the attachment. I will explain this too, what's the difference these two. So this 3 is like it says Tambu Jevaganyemu, like first 8, 9 is mental obstacles. So these 3 are mental obstacles. Nipa Chuva Lenos. Nipa Chuva Lenos, second one is karma, right? So 10th one is also karma. So these 2 are karma. Nipa Chuva Lenos means 2nd and 10th are karma. And then Homanon Dingegos, and then rest of them is kind of like, you know, the one like because of those, you know, because of this mental obstacle, because of this karma, and then rest of them is kind of like, you know, that one object of the suffering. So what's the difference between, like, you know, the Nipachua, like the second karma, and you know, number 10, like, you know, the number 10, the karma, these both are karma. You know, our Rinpoche's hand out, you know, the number second one is karma, and number 10 is called the existence. So these both of them like karma, but number 1 we call like a jiti, like a jiti and jeti. So number 1, you know, the second one, like karma is the when you created karma, like that one is like to self in the consciousness, right? So this number 10, like karma is the result, like, the something that you store or set in a consciousness, right? So that because of this attachment is pick up like that karma, like a result, like, so that time is karma is the number 10th one. And then number 8 and number 9, both of them like kind of attachment, but this true attachment has different. Number 9 is the one picking up, that, for example, like, that because the number 8, like because of the attachment, like you try to find like some, that somewhere to birth, right? And then after that, there's one like attachment, the picking up, like picking up. So that's why this true, like, the are same attachment, but kind of like different. Maybe it's that the number 9 is a more ripened, like more ripe. So that's the different, like between number 8 and number 9. Okay, so now if you go on top of the here, okay, this in this picture, this moon is not like the full moon. Actually, maybe they put here like a sun. Maybe that's why that to kind of like that to know us, like let us know that this is the moon. Actually, here like we should put the moon is like a full moon, like totally that round, because this moon is represent cessation, cessation or ahead, like so. Because we call like golden temple is like golden means cessation. That from that new moon to full moon, like with during the 15 day, it's like day to day, like they grow up more and more, and then on the 15th, like Tibetan lunar calendar, like the 15th day, that, and then it's totally totally like a complete, it's totally full, right? So this full moon is represent for cessation. And then other side, there's a Buddha Shakyamuni. The Buddha Shakyamuni, like, so Buddha Shakyamuni stand up and his, the finger pointed towards the full moon. So that, like, that represent, like give, like giving us message that, if you practice, if you practice, the path to enlightenment, then it's possible, like to generate the, enlightenment. It's look like a moon, like, that, like, from new moon to full moon, like to complete. You also like, the first, like, the new moon, look like a new moon from the beginner and the process whole path, and finally you generate enlightenment. So there's a, the Buddha Shakyamuni pointed towards the moon, which means like we have, it's possible, everybody going to generate enlightenment if you practice. And then there's like, kind of like scared girl, like it's called, we call this Yana. So he holds, all this will of life, very, with, the mouth and hands and legs, together, like hold very tight. That's the represent like impermanent nature. This, all this, samsara, or like everything is the nature of impermanent. There's nothing like permanent, So that's the represent for that. And So I don't see here, but there's a true stanza, right? In Rinpoche's handout, okay, so I come back. In our our Rinpoche's handout, there's a stanza, like one stanza here, one stanza here. We already explained about that. So that one, I didn't see in that, but in my see here, like you can see that in a Tibetan, there's a two stanza, right? So this one is a represent for a path to enlightenment. So as I told before, this twin link dependent origination, is represent, like, not teach us like Four Noble Truth also. This two stanza that Buddha Shakyamuni taught is represent, like, represent path to enlightenment. And this full moon, they represent, like, represent what you call the cessation, like, here in in my book, that I put here picture, like, see there's a moon, this on top of this two stanza, there's a moon, it's a full, like totally round, right? So actually it should be like that. So anyway, this, that will of life is actually like a teaching, like Four Noble Truth teaching. The full moon represents cessation, and two stanza later represent like a path to enlightenment, and then that path to enlightenment. And then in here, that out of the 12, out of the 12, there's what you call that Lech Kunjung, like causes of suffering, right? Like the karma, like a karma, and those attachment, like the first one, 8, 9, and then all those are causes of suffering. We'll call it like Lech Kunju, Nyemumpe Kunju. There are two kind of karmas. All those are causes of suffering, right? And then rest of them is Dunye Demba, that there's a 6, another 6. All those are suffering. So, in this wheel of life, it teaches us like Four Noble Truth. So, any question? This picture is very popular, everywhere. Like when you go to the monastery, all monasteries, like when you enter, like the door, like right the door side, there's the picture wheel of life. This is very what you call that. I think it's very smart way, like to put over there, because the door side everybody can see, right? So whoever see there, and then they got the message, like from this picture about the Four Noble Truth teaching. And then also the monks, like during the prayer, like in the prayer hall, when they can see, like kind of help them to meditate on a Four Noble Truth. So that's why this wheel of life picture, like you can see everywhere. And also the His Holiness Dalai Lama, the many time like talk about this is very like a good message, and this is very the very good to put like everywhere, like because everybody can see, like very obvious through the picture, like in a very profound teaching through the picture. Okay, is Geshe la yung ba? Oh yeah. Geshe la, please talk about contemplating the 12 link in a reverse order. Yeah. Okay. This the 12 link dependent origination we usually like call it tende lunju and tende ludu. You know that what you call that order, like if you go to the clockwise, when you meditate on this clockwise, you know, that's like tende lunjung, which means how we involve, like, you know, how we came to the, you know, in a samsara, how we circle in a samsara, right? And then in a question, it says like a reverse order, uh, which means like go back, like, you know, the tende ludu. That's actually like, you know, the meditate, like how we liberate from the samsara, you know that for like, you know, the revise means like, you know, the gasha dobe, kewadu, like come back from, like when you avoid like this, and then, you know, that, what, how to say, like, yeah, to avoid aging and death, you know, you should like avoid, like, you know, the go back to the number 11, like, you know, the birth, right? And then to avoid the birth in samsara, you know, that you should avoid, like, you know, that this clinging, like, you know, the grasping, you know, the two, you know, that go back, like, you know, when it comes to the number, like a feeling this, everything, like, you know, that when you come to the clockwise, and then it tells us how we, you know, that what you call cycle in a samsara, right? When you go to the opposite, like how we avoid, like that's the, you know, revised order, like which means, you know, that to contemplating, like how to stop, to what you call the burn in a cyclic existing, like in this samsara. So that's the, I hope that cover your question. Is there a picture that teaches eightfold path? Follow yellow jet. Follow yellow jet, them picture in the other. No, Ramon Lon, the lab jet today. Maybe it's possible, but I didn't see, you know, after no. I will check. Is there a picture of eightfold, right? Eightfold we call like a follow yellow jet. So these are, you know, the, what you call that, like, you know, speech, like, you know, the, yeah, maybe, you know, there's something, I will check that, I didn't see. Okay, how to revise 10. Virtually. The number 10 is the karma, right? Like result karma. So, like, you know, this result karma, like, you know, that how to reverse 10. Yeah, so this 10th, you know, the 10th one is the result karma. Like to stop result karma, you know, you have to stop. Like it's a depend on to stop, you know, that grasping. You understand, like, you know, the to stop the number 10 is the result karma, right? To stop the number 10, you have to stop that number 9, which is grasping. So when you revise, like, you know, that go back to the, you know, this twin link dependent origination, like, you know, that we call like a ra lepa. Ra lepa means it's depend to stop on number 9. So that's the how, yeah, go back. Okay, so It's almost 11, and Geshe is here, and he's going to teach us how to do the hand mudra. You're welcome, Mary. Okay, so nice to see you all, and have a very good weekend. Thank you everyone. Okay. Oh, yeah, the peacock sound.
Tashidele, everyone. Today we are learning to 7th and 8th offering hand mudra. So this line, Om Vajra Nivunde Ahum. Last, second last and last. Om Vajra Shabda Ahum. It's true. So hand mudra Nivunde, never index little bit inside this one. Nivunde. Some must touch the two. No problem. It's both okay. Nivunde. Some texts named this one, but some must touch. I would say touch this finger, thumbs, and index. Nivunde. Shabda. Little bit this way, and bell. You have bell and to the bell. Again, Nivunde, this way and this way, both. You want do you want same, both, same. Shabda, do you have bell? This one, Vajra is here, and Shabda. Again, Nivunde, or Nivunde, Shabda, this way, and bell. This is Asian Tantric mudra, but preliminary and conclusive feast, Vajra feast and snap and lotus mudra is preliminary and conclusive. Both, right? Agam, we again are and agam, padam, pipe, dupe, aloke, ginde, nivunde, shabda. Again, agam, padam, pipe, dupe, aloke, ginde, nivunde, shabda. Again, this one, right? Vajra feast. Agam, padam, pive, deve, aloke, ginde, nivunde, shabda. Okay, I'm done. I apologize all of you because I don't English, so I can explain not much. So sorry. Okay, have a good day. Thank you. Sit, do sit, do sit, do sit.